What's up, everybody? It's me, Bryson Booker, and it's time for another pro audio review here just for you. And so today I'm here at my church and I'm reviewing another piece of gear that we have available to us. So today I'm going to be reviewing this Community XP505 floor monitor from Community. And so Community is a brand that doesn't really get that much recognition, or they're really not in the mainstream, that much. Now they're starting to, become in the mainstream more. But at one point in time, only a couple people knew about them, and that was really installers. And their live sound products really weren't, they really didn't want to focus on live sound as much. So nowadays, Community is still around. They're still making speakers, but most of the speakers that they make nowadays are geared towards installation. So houses of worship, convention centers, amusement parks, things like that. One famous speaker, I guess you could say, that came from Community was the R series. And you can find the R series at almost every major stadium you could think of. We have some here in Chicago at Wrigley Field. There's some R series there, as well as I believe US Cellular Field also has the Community R series. So they're in some famous venues, and they made some pretty great products over the years. But their live sound stuff, you either liked it or hated it. They don't make too much of it anymore. But here at our church, we are faithful members of Community products. We have their floor monitors, we have their front of house speakers. So up there we have the Community CPL 42s. So we have 4 of those. So there's one right there, 2 right there, and then another one right there. We also have the CPL 23s, which was their smallest speaker. Those are doing under balcony duty. So under the balcony over there, we have the Community CPL 23s. And so, reliability wise, sound wise, and just general quality wise, you can't go wrong with Community. They make some pretty decent products. And this is a pretty decent monitor. This was a part of their XLT range of loudspeakers for the live sound use. So for DJs, clubs, music venues, basically things like that. That's what this monitor was designed for. I believe it's a 12-inch monitor. 12-inch bi-amplified floor monitor with their three-stage protection system on board. So let's take a look at the side real quick. I'm doing this with one hand, so excuse me. You have this nice, big, rugged handle right there. That handle is rugged. That feels like metal, and I think it is. And you also have a nice, sturdy wood cabinet, as well as some rubber feet on the bottom to keep it, nice and balanced so it won't scratch up your floors. Nice plastic sides here, nice and durable. The front face, the front grill, nice and durable here. And so on the side panel, you have both speak-on connectors and a 1/4-inch connector. 2 1/4-inch connectors. Now, this speaker, I said, can be bi-amplified. However, if you're going to bi-amp it, you're going to have to use 2 speak-on connectors. As well as there's a switch over here that allows you to switch it from full range to bi-amped, to where you can use both of these speak-on inputs. But you can use a combination of the two, a speak-on and a 1/4-inch for full range use, like we are here. There's also another switch located up here where my finger is, and that offers a 4 dB presence boost. And so what that is it basically boosts, I would say around the 6K range, so around the high frequencies and high mids. It'll give you a nice lift in the high frequencies. So like if you were on a really loud stage and you really needed your vocals or your drums to cut through, you could click that switch on and then it'll offer a nice high boost. It does come kind of subtle to the ear, but if you're used to that, obviously it's okay. Or you could just leave the speaker set flat. Right now it's on the flat sitting. These 2 monitors are on the flat sitting. The monitor behind this Hammond organ over here, you can't really see the monitor because I got my camera plugged in, so I can't really go far. But behind this Hammond is another Community XP505 monitor, and that actually has the presence boost on for our organist. So, you know, while he's playing really loud on the organ, he can still hear the rest of what's going on because of that presence boost, you know. Gives it a nice boost in the high frequency so you can hear it. And then I also said that Community put a 3-stage protection system on here, which is pretty unique if you look at it from a monitor engineer's angle. But for performers, they actually put it in 2 places. They put it right on the front of this. There's 3 LEDs right in the front of the speaker, so you can see what's going on with the loudspeaker, as well as on the side. So if you were a monitor engineer sitting on the side of the speaker, you could see what's going on as well. So what this is there's 3 LEDs in here. There's a green LED, a yellow LED, and a red one. So when normal signal is going into the loudspeaker, the green LED will light up. So I'll show you that right now. Oh, here, let me put like a kick drum through it. There we go. So it'll flash. Yep. And so that lets you know basically that there's signal going in it and the speaker's okay. So, you know, the louder that you get, obviously, and the more, the bigger the mix that you have running through it, and the louder that mix is, it'll start to activate the 2nd stage of protection. And that's when the yellow LED will come on. So the green LED and the yellow LED will flash together. And finally, the 3rd stage of protection is when the red LED comes on. So that means, you know, it should really spark your attention at that point that maybe you should turn the loudspeaker down before it blows. Keep this in mind when you're using this speaker. The protection will only prevent it from blowing, but will not stop it from blowing. So if you keep running it at full power with all 3 LEDs on, you're going to eventually blow it. So keep that in mind when you're using the loudspeaker. Now let's talk about sound. Now, anybody who has used Community products know that they have a certain sound signature. And that sound signature really exists in the presence area and the intelligibility area of vocals. And that's around, the intelligibility area is around 2 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, you know, 1 kilohertz if you use that for vocals. And then the presence area is around, you know, 5K, 6K, 10K, 12K, you know, all the highs basically. And so Community products kind of emphasize those ranges to make vocals and instruments more intelligible. And so keep that in mind when you pick up their products. You know, some sources may seem more brashy up in that 2K range than other sources. So you may have to tune some of that out when you're EQing the monitors for live use, because they will definitely feedback if you push them hard enough and loud enough in those frequency ranges of 2 kilohertz and 3 kilohertz, the range of most vocals. So when you're tuning them, when I tuned them, I took a bit of 3.5K out of them because that's one that they really feeded back at, as well as just a tiny bit of 8 kilohertz in that presence range that really made the speaker kind of sound harsh. If I had to really describe the sound of these speakers, it would really be crispy. It's a very crispy sounding speaker. Not as full and punchy as a JBL, but not as cheesy sounding as a PV, if you understand my drift. Basically, these speakers do not have a flat frequency response, so you may have to tune them to your particular situation anyway, because they do have some of those frequency bumps. When I test them right now, they are EQ'd, and those frequencies that I pulled out, Basically, I did pull them out. So the speaker is already EQ'd. All of these monitors are EQ'd. And so I'll play a little bit of my Yamaha motif here. I'm not a professional musician, so I really just want you to hear the dynamics of this speaker and how it performs and how it behaves. So I'll start it on the flat setting, which it's on now, and then I'll click the switch on the side and let you hear the 4 dB presence boost. So let's go to our keyboard here. Oh, and I also want to let you know that I am running this monitor through my Soundcraft Signature 16 console, and then also the monitor is going from the Soundcraft Signature 16 into an Ashley equalizer, and then the Ashley equalizer is going to a QSC amplifier. This guy is receiving about 700 watts, 600 watts. It can really take 700 watts to 1,000 watts. So I believe this monitor, if it's not receiving 700 watts, if it's receiving 1,000 watts, but it's being divided between, you know, this wedge, that one over there, the one behind the organ, and the ones in the drum pit. So just let you know that. So let's play a little bit so you can hear how it sounds. Now I'm going to set my camera right here. So I'm going to turn the presence switch on, and so see if you can spot the difference. Okay, so this is with the presence boost on. I'll let you get right in the horn so you can really hear it. So obviously it does kind of sound a bit brighter in that horn. Sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming. Like I said, it can be subtle when you have the presence boost on, but it actually makes it a bit more crispity and crunchity really in that high, so you can hear those crucial points of a vocal or another instrument on a really loud stage. So I'm going to set it back to flat and maybe play some drums for you on my motif so you can hear how punchy it is and how it really sounds. that was just a little sound demo testing the loudspeaker. Like I said, really crispy, really in your face. That's really a good word or a good sentence to describe this monitor. It's in your face. I can't handle it, but there's probably musicians and performers who love it. And I know if you're a monitor engineer, with this thing, you really don't have to work that hard because it can get really loud really fast without you having to ride your faders to the new millennium to get it to sound loud. It does require a 40 hertz low pass filter. So that's basically our equalizer up here. Our graphic EQ has a 40 hertz low cut on it. So basically once you click that in, it'll be good to go. Like I said, it's kind of as far as its punchiness, it kind of has like a slap. Kind of slaps you in the face, you know, to describe the impact that the monitor has. It's kind of more of a slap rather than a punch, you know, like you would get from a JBL SRX monitor or something like that. Kind of provides more of a slap sound, but it's very in your face. It's very close to you. It wants to eat you and grab you, especially that horn right there. That horn will bite your head off. It really is. It really will. You know, it gets the high frequencies, sometimes they get really piercing. And like I said, when you're on a really loud stage and you really need instruments to cut through, sometimes that's a good thing. When you're really using it in like intimate acoustic spaces and you have it really loud, it can kind of get, you know, on your nerves. But, you know, heck, we as sound engineers may think monitors get on our nerves, but musicians love it. And I believe almost every musician will love this Community XP505 monitor. Great wedge, durable wedge. It sounds great. It looks pretty great. You know, got the carpet right here. It looks great, you know, and it's reliable. One thing I can say about Community products is they are just so reliable. We've never had any problems with these monitors. I guess you could say the only problem that we had was one of the tweeters blew. And that's because another engineer was pushing the speaker past what it could handle and it just blew. Like I said, the thermal protection will only protect the speaker from blowing. It won't stop it from blowing. So once those 3 LEDs come on, and you know, that's really a sign to an engineer to turn the monitor down. Because if you don't, you could risk blowing it anyway. So we just have to get a new tweeter for it. That's all it needs. And it's really easy to get in and replace that. And just take off the screws of the grill and then take your tweeter out. And there's 2 little prongs on the tweeter that you can replace it with another one. I believe Community does still sell parts for these speakers, but they no longer make them. So it's a gem. It really is a gem, and it's a great speaker. So check it out for yourself. It's the Community XP505 monitor.